Welcome back, everyone, to Anonymous Addiction Deprogramming Podcast. Thanks for all the subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, liking, comments. Really appreciate it. We hit 1,000, so that's that's past us. Thanks. Today we're going to be talking about Towns Hospital. Towns Hospital. The hospital that Bill W. went 4 times in 1 year. The same hospital that Dr. Silkworth worked there for many, many years. I think he became the chief staff in 1929. 1929, chief of staff for the hospital, Dr. Duncan Silkworth. Now, I'm going to be talking about the guy that started the hospital, Charles Burns Towns. That was his name, Charles Burns Towns. Charles Towns. He started Towns Hospital. Now, everyone would probably imagine that Towns himself is a medical doctor. No. Was he a professor? No. Was he a teacher? Did he have any degrees at all? None. Charles Towns was an insurance agent, and that's exactly what he was. So let me give you a little history of Towns. Okay. Insurance agent. So he moves over to New York from Georgia. This unknown, mysterious, unnamed individual claimed he had a cure for all addictions. Opium was big over there, heroin, alcoholism was alcoholism. This is back in I'm talking back in, let's see, you're talking roaring 20s was 1920 to 1929. Prohibition was 1920 to 1933. The Great Depression was 1929 to 1941. So we're talking Towns Hospital he started a small hospital about 1901 or 1905. Just a small little hospital. So he gets this cure. Somebody passes on this cure. And we all know it was called the belladonna cure. Okay. Let me just go. Now this is the ingredients from the belladonna cure, which was very toxic, very hallucinogenic. It was called deadly nightshade. It, it was a two ingredients were hog's bean, prickly ash, a couple other ingredients, but it was hallucinogenic. And then he used to put two more ingredients uh, together. Where are they at? Let's see these two other. Oh, here we go. Chloral hydrate, used as a intermediate in the production of insecticides, herbicides, and hypnotic drugs. The other one was parahyd. Parahyd is a medication with sedative and hypnotic anticoagulant properties. Mixed them all together. He gave them to the patients I think it was every 4 hours. I don't know. I'll look it up. Um, every 4 hours, every day and every night for 50 hours. And then they gave him some castor oil. But this is to put him to sleep. They wanted to put him to sleep. It was a look, Charles Burns Town, no degree whatsoever, comes up with this cure gets passed on to him. He hooks up with Dr. Lambert, Dr. Alexander Lambert. Now, who was Alexander Lambert? He was a he was a pretty big shot. He was a professor at Cornell University Medical Center, and he was the prime physician for President Theodore Roosevelt. Okay, so Lambert was a big shot. So And Lambert's working at the Bellevue Hospital. He's working on the alcoholism ward, the addiction ward. He's into that. So he's Townsend and Lambert get together. Lambert's experimenting with the belladonna cure over at Bellevue. So they get together and they write the Towns Lambert cure formula and they publicize it. Well, Lambert has big connections in the government. Okay, he's the he's the physician. He's the president's physician until Theodore Roosevelt died, and he was like a big big dog, big chief in Red Cross. He had all kinds of pull. So Towns hooks up with Lambert. Now he got a government grant, and they sent Towns over to China. Now listen to this. He went to China to assist the recovery of because they're saying they had 160 million drug addicts in the country of China. So they sent 1908. They send him over there, and he comes back and he says he found a 90% 90 his cure, the belladonna cure, which they called when he came back. They got together and they called it the Towns Lambert cure. So he says he has a 90% cure rate, and he said he cured thousands of them when he went over there. So he comes back and he's got this government backing, and he was really legislating for some different bills. Now remember, Towns was an insurance agent, no medical doctor, no medical field, no degrees. Smart, smart cookie. You got to be smart to come up with this snake oil salesman, charlatan medical cure, and put it together and buy a hospital. So he comes up with the cure. Now Lambert and him hooked up, but Lambert kind of he was kind of like iffy. So after the paper got written up and they got a lot of publicity, Lambert left. So they just called it the belladonna cure. But it was the Towns Lambert cure, but it was really the belladonna cure. So Towns opens up a small little place with a nurse, a servant, and one physician. Opens a small little place. I think he opened it up in 1909. Now he went over to China in 1908, so he got all this recognition, and he claims that he really brought the bell, and he did. He brought the belladonna to Lambert, which he experimented in Bellevue. So stay with me now here. So Lambert, I mean Towns gets gets going. He's getting popular. Cash only, only to the wealthy. How he ever bought the hospital, I'll never know. So he had this small little practice. He buys the hospital over, let's see, where was the address here? It was what was the address? Uh, I'll get it. I'll get it to you in a minute. Where was that address at? I think it was on two. It was in two. Wow. Oh, here it is. 293 Central Park West in New York. He moved from this little place he had and bought this hospital. They went bankrupt. A lot of stuff happened. It was a regular hospital. He buys it and creates an alcohol and drug addiction treatment center, the whole building. I think it was 55 beds. He lived there with his family. He lived in the building. But how he put that together, I'll never know. I'm going to do some research and see where he came up with the money. I can't imagine where he came up with the money. So Lambert leaves. He starts the hospital. So the hospital that he bought, that was 1914. Yeah, 1914. The hospital was around for 51 years. When he died, uh, Towns died. The son kind of took it over. But Silkworth came aboard in 1929. So you got Silkworth, he's aboard. They're all pumping out the belladonna treatment. Bill comes in after four stents. The last one, the fourth one, he has this white light uh, spiritual awakening, which was a hallucination. Of course it was. Now, just to say there, before that, there was a couple suicides. A couple people jumped out of the window to Bellevue and committed suicide, before that. But he's claiming a 90% success rate. Now, here's how his success rate. Now, in the beginning, listen to this. In the beginning, he put an ad in the paper when he was in the small hospital. He put an ad in the paper asking for drug friends who would like to be cured of their addiction, alcohol or drugs. And he got referrals from that, and people came in. Only the wealthy. Oh, what is it? C.W. Fields, uh, big Henry Ford sent his workers that were addicted over to the town's hospital. Okay. You're talking 5 days. Let's see, 5 days. You're talking, let's see how much money. 5 days, $350 for 5 days. That's a lot of money. That's equal to about $6,700 today's money. That's big money. Bill's brother-in-law, I'm sure he had to pay for most of it. I don't know how Bill paid for it, but I'm sure Bill's brother-in-law paid for it because Towns, the money had to be paid up front. So he's saying he's got to, and he's dealing with not only he's dealing with having people come over, putting ads in the paper for the cure. He's dealing with criminally uh, the underworld, the criminals. They're coming to him too, because you're talking the Roaring Twenties. You're talking Prohibition. You're talking the Roaring Twenties, 1920. Prohibition started in 1920. 1929 to 1941. That's in between. That's where the stock market crashed and Bill went nuts. And everybody knows about that on a bunch of my other podcasts. But here's Bill comes in, right? Four times. Last time leaves. So he's leaving, and Silkworth loved Bill. I mean, Silkworth, first of all, they credit Towns for starting the disease phenomena, the disease concept of alcohol. No, he's not the first. Benjamin Rush, uh, Magnum Huss, they all said the same thing about alcoholism being a disease. So, but he was smart. He put it all together. Here's an insurance agent guy brought in uh, residents, physicians working in a hospital, nurses. This place was top shelf. They had private rooms. Up top, they built a solarium up top eventually. After a few years, he built a solarium where they exercised. They had private rooms, a phone, good food, uh, exercise. They did a lot of different things. This was a money making. It would be equated to like Malibu back then. The the guy was a genius in coming up with the first for profit cash. Later, he got reimbursed for insurances, and they used to rig uh, the coding so they can still get paid because I think Medicaid started, back then. So they did get some reimbursements, but most of it was wealthy people. They were dropped off of there. They got dried out. So here's his success rate. 5 days or whatever treatment you're staying, get you through the detox, get you from the shakes, settle you in, get your mind stabilized, dry you out. That's what it was, a drying out session because there was no aftercare. There was no checking the statistics after they leave. So he was counting on all. You left the hospital, check. That was a cure. That's how he gets this 90% cure, which is bogus on a belladonna treatment. It's kind of equated. I'm looking at it, I'm not saying, hey, the guy was into something. He had to be, but it was just a pop. It's almost like a lot of they're claiming today with a lot of the psychedelics. Uh, they use a lot of different types of psychedelics today. Let's see, I wrote some down here. The psilocybin, the ketamine, the MDMA, the ayahuasca. They're using it. These can create a psychic change also, and they probably can temporarily. Okay. Does it, is there statistics to say that that helps with addiction long term or helps with the moderation? I don't know where the statistics are because like I said in my short, I don't even buy these statistics that they're throwing around anymore because when Bill wrote the big book, in the back of the medical view, these doctors back in, uh, you know, what, 80 years ago are saying that Bill had a 50 to 60%, Alcoholics Anonymous had a 50 to 60% success rate. And that was bogus. So here, follow this though. Please subscribe, like, comment. I really appreciate it. Let's build this channel so I could put some content out and we can do some different things together. But here's a guy that now you got Bill. So Bill comes out. Ebby comes in. Silkworth is telling Bill, yeah, pump the disease concept. This is disease. It's a phenomena of craving. And let's talk about phenomena. Phenomena just means can be observed. It's maybe could be questionable, but it's observable. You can tell if it's a phenomena. Hey, there is a phenomena of craving. Hey, look, I have a phenomena of craving of cakes and donuts. Okay. So whatever about the phenomena of craving, there could be a phenomena of craving of anything. So how much weight do we want to really put in that? The allergy thing, eh, who knows? I don't know because I don't think statistically ever people are allergic to peanuts. I'm allergic to chocolate. I break out. I can't drink milk. I'm lactose tolerant. Who knows? Maybe there's something to the allergy component to alcohol, but disease, no. Disorder, no. Okay. Um, there's people that say that they were in Alcoholics Anonymous left and they're capable of moderating drink after many years of understanding their minds, bodies, consciousness, coming aware of different things. And I don't doubt that one bit. And that is true. So that's their truth because they're examples of it. So let's get back to Bill here. So Silkworth hooks up and becomes AA's Dr. Saint. Everyone knows that they wrote Dr. Silkworth's opinion, the doctor's opinion in the big book. 91 years, one doctor's opinion. Now here's his opinion. Here's a guy, here's a doctor that he was the one that put him on the belladonna treatment, saying it's a cure, right? Didn't everybody say that the Towns Lambert was a cure? Didn't they say it was the belladonna cure? Well, if it was the cure, why why did they send them to the Oxford group? Why did why did because why did Silkworth even get involved with Alcoholics Anonymous and say that now here's the cure? Belladonna treatment is just a cure, but here's the real cure. to come to Alcoholics Anonymous, give your will and your life over to the care of AA and God for life. That's the real cure. So I'm going to back that. One doctor's opinion, 91 years ago. Mm, it's just, Charles Burns Towns created the first multi-level addiction, multi-million dollar, eventually multi-billion dollar, because everybody copied it, multi-level marketing addiction recovery trap pyramid scam. He was brilliant in that sense. I mean, let's see. Towns Hospital, was there for 51 years. The son, after he died, after Towns' death in 1947, the son, who had no medical experience whatsoever, he was in the army or something. They gave him a medal or something. He was a colonel. The son took it over, and his son Edward ran it. He was a lawyer for Columbia University. The lawyer took it over. But Silkworth is there, still pumping out the belladonna treatment. Okay. So meets Bill, tells Bill to pump out the information, make sure you tell the people about the disease concept. Now here's Bill. Ebby comes in, meets Bill. Ebby brings Bill to the Oxford group. Bill meets Bob in the Oxford group. Bill and Bob go pass the message back to Towns Hospital. This happened in 1934. He passed the, you could come in, go ahead. You want to go in there? Oh, go ahead. He passed the hospital. So they're over in the Oxford group, right? Now, Bill and Bob, Dr. Bob, are going back and promoting Alcoholics Anonymous because they're going in to their clients, to the patients at Towns Hospital. And Towns Hospital is sending the clients to Alcoholics Anonymous. So see the connection, the referral system? That's how it is today. Every treatment center, right? Every treatment center that's passing on the 12-step paradigm in the treatment center is indoctrinating everyone, coming from the hospital to the sober living to the halfway house to Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. It's just a big, big circle, big scam, but it's amazing. I give them credit, really. I think it's really amazing. Um, so Towns, Towns, let's see. He had 50 beds in that hospital. 200, 350 a pop, 5-day stay. Um, listen to this here. Towns gave Bill W 25, he gave him 2,500. Towns he gave Bill money to help push the book. Now, that's like 53,000 today's, in 2025. That's like $54,000. But he gave him $2,500. He said, take this and use it. He wanted him to work with him, but Rockefeller already took control. He grabbed control of Alcoholics Anonymous when Frank Amos went over there. And a bunch of my podcasts I talk about. I'm the only one here talking about the connection, connecting the dots to Rockefeller and Alcoholics Anonymous. You go from Towns Hospital, you go to Silkworth, you go to Rockefeller, you go to Bill W., and then it just spreads out like tentacles, Marty Mann and Brinkley and Jeranik and the old man, Rockefeller Rockefeller's father, I'm talking about John D. Rockefeller Jr., but Rockefeller's father, he had the whole medical industry wired. They pumped so much money into the medical industry, so they were pushing out the alcoholism uh, disease concept big time, big time, because Rockefeller bought, controlled, manipulated, designed, created Alcoholics Anonymous. He started the Alcohol Foundation. Listen to this. So you figure the Towns Hospital was there until 1965. Rockefeller stopped. Rockefeller was John D. Rockefeller Jr. was supporting Alcoholics Anonymous up until 1965. Believe me, 1965. He gave Bill and Bob stifles. He paid for Dr. Bob's house, paid the mortgage off. He made sure Bill was out there promoting Alcoholics Anonymous to create the pyramid, to create the multi-level marketing pyramid that you see today. It's all connected. You have to connect the dots and follow the money. That's what I've been doing for the last 5, 6 years. So stay tuned and keep on watching some of our podcasts. Um, oh yeah, even Towns, what he did for him. Remember, remember when they talk about the Liberty magazine? That's the same time Rockefeller sent Norman Jaffe over to Europe, 1934. Rockefeller was checking out alcoholism. He was doing all kinds of research on alcoholism because he was prepping, because that's the same time that the Amos report was written. The exact same time, everything. If you connect all the dots, put the puzzle together, you see the picture. The veil's lifted and you can see the picture. People say, well, maybe it's a conspiracy. Bobby, you're talking like conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy, two or more, three or more. This is a bunch of them together. Yeah, it's a conspiracy, definitely. No, no problem. Fulton Arsler, editor of Liberty. Towns got him connected. He sent, he got it published, the article, to pump out the book, the big book, which was, if it wasn't for if it wasn't for Rockefeller buying back all the stocks, because uh, Bill screwed up. Uh, I forget what his buddy's name was that he left anyhow. He was involved with Standard Oil. Um, they sold stocks. Rockefeller it took him like probably like a year to buy back all those stocks because they couldn't do nothing. They couldn't even form that foundation without buying all the stocks back. Rockefeller bought all those stocks back and created Alcoholics Foundation. Okay. And then the people on the trustees were Rockefeller's advisors. Okay. Bill wasn't even on the trustee. He wasn't even a trustee. Matter of fact, Fulton, he became a trustee for Alcoholics Anonymous, the editor of Liberty. He became a trustee. All this, all this is connected. If you go back and check out a lot of my other podcasts about the connection with Rockefeller, you'll see this. But the Towns Hospital, I just started getting into that, really digging deep. If you go into the AA archives, that's all BS. If you read the books, uh, Coming to Age and all, the good old timers, Dr. Bob, they're just a narrative they want you to believe. They don't want you to believe that Bill and Bob were just puppets. They don't want you to believe that. You think Bill had enough talent to create this multi-billion-dollar thing that happened? Uh, no, he got his royalties from the book. Okay, Lois made out and he made out, and that's all he cared about. He was the salesman. Just like Towns, Charles B. Towns was a snake oil salesman, so was Bill W. Okay. And still going on. two corporations. Where's all the money come from? Both of them. Both of them. And I go through that with the Grapevine and General Service and World Service Inc., where the money's made. Donate buttons. People donate millions and millions of dollars to Alcoholics Anonymous, and through the literature, millions are made. You know, uh, yeah, this was kind of it's kind of interesting. I give Towns credit, man, to come up with this thing. It's crazy. I even connect the dots with Rockefeller's uh, sister. She was hanging around. She had problems. She lost a bunch of money, and her brother, uh, he used to take care of her. She hung around with Carl Jung for years and years, traveled with him. And the Jungian experience where Roland went to Carl Jung. Here's another one. You got Silkworth as a psychologist, a psychiatry in the neuropsychology. You got Jung as a psychiatrist. Um, and these people knew that they couldn't do nothing, it had to come from them. Carl Jung sent Roland, said, I can't help you. Go over and get a spiritual conversion. Go to the Oxford group, get a spiritual conversion. But they kept on collecting their money. Therapists keep on collecting your money over and over. And I'm not saying don't go to a therapist. If you try to go to one, try to find one that'll give you a sliding scale, or maybe, do a one-on-one, a little group for a short time. It'll help. But to pay money to these people over and over in years, for especially for addictions, any type of addiction, and then they're going to send you to the 12-step programs. And I listed, what, 20 of them? 20 12-step programs. I don't care if you're going to OA, AA, NA, GA, you know, Sexaholics Anonymous, Porn Anonymous, you name it. They got one for everybody. Okay, all addictions. So let's see, where else can we go with this? Yeah, they called them at one time. It was too good to be true. I think Lambert was saying that, man, this borderlines on quackery. Uh, let's see, Towns, Ebby, he goes visits, then they go back. It's back and forth, just like today. It was the start of it all back there in 1914. And when when Bill goes in, man, Charles Towns and Silkworth, wow, four times this guy has this giant hallucination experience, goes out and gets sent over to Oxford Group. Yeah. Henry, I told you, didn't I tell you Henry Ford sent his people over there? Yeah, because Henry Ford, he employed, they had Benjamin Rush was trying to help alcoholics, people that are addicted years and years ago in the 1800s. But Towns came up with a money making idea, which still today is huge. Who came on after that? Like Betty Ford Centers and all this other one. It was the Malibu of the 1900s, you know. Brilliant. Henry Ford sent his people that were addicted to drugs. Sometimes they had a 10-day treatment. They went over there. One time he sent three alcoholics, three alcoholics, and two opioid addicts, they say, people that were addicted, sent them over there. They came out and they say, yeah, they're cured. Go back in. Nobody follows up. Nobody knows what they did afterwards. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but that's not a statistic. Come on. People going to give me some backlash on the allergy or the phenomenon of craving. They're just words. You're talking 91 years ago. Even a lot of me personally, even a lot of the stuff that they're using today, it could be borderline uh, quackery too. Okay, it can be borderline because if they're trying to make a lot of money off it. Okay, um, cannabis, California sober, If you can use cannabis moderately or whatever you use, that's okay. I'm okay with it. There's no problem. If it's going to get less harm, create less harm, no question. If you're challenging yourself and you're working towards a better change, a healthier change, mind, body, and I believe in the spirit. If you don't believe in the spirit, that's up to you. But quantum physics or metaphysics beyond material, meta means beyond. You got metaverse, you got eh, Facebook is meta, beyond. I believe in the beyond spirit. I mean, if you don't believe in the Hermetic principles, vibration, correspondence, gender, cause and effect, mentalism. So yeah, he was really into it. I mean, he was on the cutting edge, really, of the same that I see today. I mean, back then, 1914, 2025. People say they're on the cutting edge of this harm reduction. Uh, the only thing is that back then, yeah, they wanted to get them off of it. And people today refer people to detox. We believe in detox. If somebody really needs detox, we believe in it. People go through detoxes over and over again. They go to 10, 15 rehabs. Where do they get sent to afterwards? Where's the money go? Follow the money. Follow the dots, follow the circle. It's just over and over and over. It's one swinging door after another. The money that's made in this fake ass addiction recovery treatment scam, you know. Hey, I'm all for it. You want to celebrate? Go ahead, celebrate for a year. I still remember my last date. I still, that's important to me. February 27th, 1984. I remember the last time. Me, I consider myself alcohol and drug-free lifestyle. That's me. You know, this abstinence stuff, you want to go abstinent? I think it's the easier, softer way. You talk about the real one, the real easier, softer way. I think that is eventually, if you want to get to that space, come join me or call me or DM me or get a hold of me. You know, if you want to go the other routes, I go that way too. I'll help you uh, transition through that process also. You know, but I'm back. And I don't know. I think I said enough. Connect the dots, follow the money, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Let's see if I could pause it.